Last night, West Africa is on high alert. Reports spreading fast say a serious threat was stopped just in time in Burkina Faso. Ladies and gentlemen, if these claims are true, the nation may have avoided a deep security crisis that could have shaken the whole region. Yes. Now, before that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Venezuelan president in US, New York. Do you know what is actually happening to him now in US? And guess what? Ghana has actually attacked, United States of America. Let us actually expose everything here in this recorded video. So watch till the end. Late on January 3, 2026, several independent sources reported that security forces in Burkina Faso stopped an alleged coup d'etat. Yes, attempt. According to this report, ladies and gentlemen, key suspects were arrested during a late night operation. Some of these arrested are said to be foreign nationals. Yes. At this time, there is no official statement from the government and all details remained allegations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. The report claimed that their plan was not managed by inside Burkina Faso alone. Sources say the coordination happened from Lomé in neighboring Togo. The name of former transitional president Paul Henry Damiba appears often in these reports as a suspected organizer. These claims have not been confirmed by authorities. According to the same sources, ladies and gentlemen, the alleged plan was complex and dangerous. It was said to include targeted killing meant to weaken national security. One reported target was a commander linked to a drone base. The goal, according to these claims, was to create confusion and fear so armed groups could move into the country more easily. It is important to state clearly that all this information comes from unnamed sources and media reports. No official confirmation has been released until authorities speak. These details must be treated with caution and responsibility. Yes, Burkina Faso has faced repeated security challenges in recent years. Armed violence and political instability have placed heavy pressure on the state and its people. Because of this history, any report of a coup attempt draws strong attention both inside and outside the country. To support responsible journalism, please, ladies and gentlemen, take a moment to like this video and share it with others who value calm, verified news. This helps important updates reach more people without panic or rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, as the story continues to develop, attention is now turning to what this means for national stability, regional relations, and the safety of civilians. The silence from officials is adding to public tension whilst security remains tight. Ladies and gentlemen, sources involved in this report also mentioned possible external support for the alleged plot. These claims suggest help may have come from outside Burkina Faso. No country or group has been officially named, and no proof has been shared publicly. These points remain unconfirmed. If proven true, such actions could affect trust between neighboring countries. West Africa depends strongly on cooperation for security and trade. Any sign of cross-border planning raises concern among regional leaders and citizens. So far, ladies and gentlemen, there are no reports of fighting or civilian harm linked to these claims. Daily life in many areas continues, but security forces are said to be alert. Citizens are being encouraged by community leaders to stay calm and avoid spreading unverified information. Ladies and gentlemen, false or early reports can cause fear and division. For this reason, careful language matters. Until officials release clear statement, ladies and gentlemen, this situation remains an allegation, not a confirmed event. This moment shows why strong institutions and clear communications are important. When facts are shared quickly and clearly, rumors lose power. When silence lasts too long, fear can grow. Behind every headline, ladies and gentlemen, are ordinary people, families, workers, and students depend on peace to live their daily lives. Stability is not just about leaders and soldiers. It is about safety, food, schools, and hope for the future. Observers now wait for official words from Burkina Faso authorities. New statements will help clarify what truly happened and, of course, what steps are being taken next. Until then, responsible attention and patience remain essential, ladies and gentlemen. For clear and respectful updates on this developing story, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us share news with care, balance, and respect for truth. Another breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, from around the world. The United States of America has captured Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cecilia Flores, and brought them to the United States of America. The White House has released video footage showing Maduro arriving under U.S. custody in New York. This sudden move has shocked many countries and caused strong reactions across the world. Here is the full story in very simple ways that you can better understand. U.S. media reports say American forces carried out a military operation in Venezuela. During this operation, President Maduro and his wife were taken out at night and flown to the United States of America. Reports say they were transported to a detention center in Brooklyn, New York City, where they are now being held. Ladies and gentlemen, U.S. officials accuse Maduro of serious crimes, including drug-related charges. American leaders say this action was necessary and legal. Some voices in the United States claimed the goal is to change Venezuela's leadership, but others would strongly disagree. One U.S. lawmaker was quoted saying, "This is about oil and regime was change it.
If it were about drugs, we'd bomb Mexico or China or Colombia, and the president would not have pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. This is about oil and regime change."
These statements suggest the operation may be about controlling Venezuela's oil and changing its government, not just about law enforcement or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, trust me, Venezuela's government has reacted with anger. The Venezuelan Minister of Defense said during the kidnapping of the Maduro couple, U.S. soldiers killed most of their security team. Venezuela calls the actions a kidnapping, not an arrest. Soon after, Venezuela's military released a warning message to the United States. It said, "Release Maduro fast." This message shows how serious and dangerous the situation has become. Yes. Now, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the crisis has now spread beyond the two countries. Ghana has officially spoken out against the U.S. action in a statement from Accra. Ghana strongly condemned what is called a unilateral and unauthorized military invasion of Venezuela. Ghana said the operation violates the United States Charter and international law. The government expressed serious concern and called for immediate de-escalation. Ghana also demanded the release of President Maduro and said the people of Venezuela alone should decide their future. Ghana added that it rejects all colonial or imperialist actions and supports the principles of self-determination. Other countries around the world are also reacting. Ladies and gentlemen, some governments have criticized the United States of America, saying the operation breaks international law and could lead to more conflict. They are calling for calm dialogue and peaceful solutions instead of force. Even inside the United States, there are mixed opinion. Some critics say the operation was unlawful and unwise, warning it could damage global stability and create more violence. As the situation continues, ladies and gentlemen, to unfold, the world is watching closely. The capture of a sitting president has raised serious questions about international law, national sovereignty, and global peace. More updates are expected as this story develops. Stay informed.